Hello everyone, Ryan here. So alas, here is my review of Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. And I know you've all been waiting for it. Yes, I'm being sarcastic. Anyways, I kind of feel like there'll probably be a lot of John Green fans out there that won't like my review, won't like what I have to say about Turtles All the Way Down. And that's cool. I mean, I'm perfectly fine, with not everyone agreeing with my own opinions when it comes to books. And so, yeah, I'll go ahead and get right into it here. Now, I definitely did not hate this book. I mean, far from it. But I definitely feel like, well, I mean, I will say I had very low expectations before reading it. And it was hard for me to get into. And I don't know if it's because I felt like, in some way, I kind of felt like it might have been a little too overhyped. I mean, on the back cover of the book, there's all this praise for John Green's other book, The Fault in Our Stars. And to me, that doesn't really make that much sense why they would. I mean, I figured that they would include some kind of blurbs about Turtles All the Way Down, not to The Fault in Our Stars. But I don't know, who knows? I mean, obviously, I feel like it's possible that John Green had nothing to do with that. It could have been completely up to his editor or publisher or whoever. I mean, I guess what I was trying to say is, I mean, the only expectation I had was that, I expected some kind of good mentions about it from at least one or two other notable authors. That's just because, when it comes to John Green's other books, there's a lot of other praise for his other books. So, and I did read The Fault in Our Stars, well, most of The Fault in Our Stars, back when it first came out, and then I eventually saw the movie. I mean, if I had to choose between either reading Turtles All the Way Down again or reading The Fault in Our Stars again, I would definitely choose The Fault in Our Stars. I mean, so getting to the main character in Turtles All the Way Down, Asa or Aza, Aza, I don't even know how to correctly pronounce that, if there is a correct way to pronounce that name. She, I guess, struggles with some kind of definitely mental disorder. I mean, I guess, she's got like severe anxiety, OCD. I mean, I would say maybe even something like, I don't know, hypochondria. I don't know, to a certain extent. I'm completely open to being just flat out wrong about, exactly what types of mental disorders or mental illness it is that she's supposed to be struggling with. I mean, I guess I will say that this is, I do consider to be well written, well thought out, and it's just, ultimately, I found it difficult to relate to any of the characters, let alone the main character. But I mean, I don't necessarily, for me, I consider that, I mean, I don't consider it to be a bad thing because I read plenty of other books, novels in which I couldn't relate to the characters at all, but I still ended up really liking them. But for me, I guess, because this is like the first time where I've read anything in which the main character was, I guess, had these different, I want to say, obsessive, compulsive kind of things going on. For example, there's one thing where, you know, she's got some kind of wound on her finger that she keeps picking at, and she's constantly having to clean it, and she disinfects it with hand sanitizer. Although I do feel like definitely halfway through the book, I felt like I wanted to be able to tell her, you know, stop messing with your frickin' finger. And I really wanted to. It was like the first time for me, first time that I actually wanted to shout at the main character of a book. And not in a negative way. I mean, purely out of concern for the character, purely out of concern for Aza or Aza. And yeah, I mean, I don't know if John Green intentionally included that thing, that obsessive compulsive thing for this character as a way to like really try to illustrate, I don't know, what obsessive compulsive behavior or disorder, I mean, really is like. So, I mean, in that regard, if that's why he did that, then I would say, okay, kudos to you, Mr. Green. Because I would imagine that, yeah, you know, like for someone like me, who, you know, I don't, I mean, I'm pretty sure I don't consider myself to one who struggles with something like obsessive compulsive disorder or anxiety. I mean, I will say that, I mean, I will admit, you know, I'm a very, very introspective kind of person. And for the most part, sometimes, like, there are times when, like, if I'm in a big crowd, like if I'm out in a public area somewhere, from time to time, sometimes I will feel like, you know, I don't want to be here. I just want to go home, do my own thing. But I mean, I never experienced anything to the point where I felt like I couldn't breathe, or like I felt like I was dizzy or anything. So I mean, again, you know, that's what I'm saying. Like, in that regard, I'm not able to relate to things like having a panic attack or experiencing severe anxiety or severe OCD. But I mean, it does interest me. I am interested in learning more about these kinds of mental disorders and as well as other mental disorders, mental illnesses that I know a lot of people do struggle with, you know, on a very regular basis. And so yeah, I mean, you know, I mean, as far as like the other characters, like her friend Daisy, I like that her friend Daisy writes Star Wars fan fiction. I really liked, I mean, I enjoyed the constant mentions of Star Wars and characters like Chewbacca and Rey. Like, I like that there's one part in which Daisy, she talks about that she wrote a fan fiction about Rey and Chewbacca. They date or get married or something along those lines, and essentially have an intimate relationship. And Daisy, like, her friend, like, kind of like went off on this like long explanation about that, you know, that Chewbacca is a person, that he's essentially a human being of some kind, or I don't know. I think that was really the only part which I found humorous. And then other than that, I mean, and there's like this whole other aspect of there's this guy, I guess, which Aza is interested in, named Davis, and his dad goes missing, and his dad's supposed to be this billionaire of some kind, and then she somehow like decides to get involved. For me, that was like I guess that's like the main thing that I had like the most trouble with being interested in, because I don't know, I felt like I was like, I don't know if that's supposed to be like another thing, like I don't know if she just decided to get involved with trying to find Davis's dad. I don't know if she did it just so she had something to occupy her mind, but ultimately it didn't really occupy her mind that much, because she still ended up being just as obsessive compulsive, as before. I mean, it's according to what the main character mentions about her life and how long she struggled with OCD and anxiety and all that, and yeah, I don't know, it's well, I mean, I will say there are definitely bits and pieces here and there of the story that I found interesting, and I kind of I wished John Green had expanded on a little more. I mean, such as, the mentions of Star Wars. That was awesome. I like that the different philosophical kind of excerpts in this about how like sometimes Aza, like she'll like have these like kind of like internal, I want to say internal monologues, in which she like kind of has these like, I guess, little revelations about the fact that human beings are mostly bacteria and microorganisms, and I don't know, because I never really thought about that before. I mean, I had already known before reading this, definitely before reading this, that the human body is made up of a lot of the human body contains a lot of bacteria, microbes, and so yeah, pretty much the human body is made up of more bacteria and microorganisms than anything else. And so I mean, I knew that before, but then I like the way how in Aza she has one of her internal monologues, and she comes to the conclusion that, I guess it's of course that has a lot to do with her OCD too, I believe, that she comes to the conclusion that she feels like that the human body is just a puppet of some kind, like just being used by a parasite and controlled by some kind of parasite, and in other words, and then she starts to wonder, how do I know that I'm actually in control of my own life? And so, I mean, which gets to be very existential and obviously deeply philosophical. But I still kind of liked reading those parts. And then I also like the different quotes from poets and writers, and I even liked because there's a mention of this like weird like snake-like kind of creature. I'm not even exactly sure how to pronounce its name. Tuatara, or because the guy Davis, was supposed to be the son of this billionaire guy who goes missing. His dad invested a lot of money into studying this snake-like creature because supposedly they're able to live a very long time, like something like 150 years, or maybe even more than that. And I guess like his dad believed that if studied long enough, that he could find the key to immortality by studying this snake-like creature, and of course trying to figure out a way to somehow, I don't know, create some kind of elixir or medicine of some kind. But I found that interesting because I never heard of this snake-like creature before. Tuatara. But it was interesting, definitely intriguing too. Otherwise, I mean, definitely this does have a lot of familiar YA stuff to it. Tropes, themes, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. But at the same time too, I can also appreciate that. I mean, when I compare this to like other YA novels I've read, I like that this at least somewhat seems like realistic, a little more realistic. And I don't know, I think it's kind of like in some ways it almost reminded me of The Fault in Our Stars, except without the fact that, you know, none of the characters have cancer or any kind of terminal illness. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, definitely it's very John Green-esque, and it's, I mean, I guess I'd say I do like his writing style. It's just kind of like, in a lot of ways, like for me, in this one, there are certain moments where I felt like he could have expanded on different parts a little more, or at the very least just not include them at all. Or because I mean, you know, like for me, sometimes when I read something that I find very interesting, but then it's only like one paragraph, and then that's it. It's never brought up again in the rest of the book. And then for me, it kind of annoys me a little bit because then I feel like, well, you know, why the hell did you even bother including that thing at all? Like, I mean, you couldn't have used something else that could have illustrated, you know, whatever metaphor or analogy you were trying to get across. Or, I mean, that's just me. That's all my own personal opinion. And else too, I don't know, maybe I kind of feel like I'm getting tired of YA stuff. I don't know, maybe I'm getting a little too old to be reading YA novels, or maybe I just need to take a long break from them, or yeah. So, I mean, overall, as far as the rating goes, I mean, I would say, like, I would give a 3.5 out of 5 stars. But I know, like, to rate this on Goodreads, they don't do the half thing. So I'm just going to say, you know, round it up to 4. 4 out of 5 stars. So, yeah, it's, yeah, I don't know. And then also, too, I didn't really like the ending. It was just kind of like, I mean, obviously I don't want to spoil it if you haven't read it. But, yeah, I liked it. I thought it was definitely good. Definitely at least somewhat different as far as John Green's style is concerned. Not too different, not like way out there, but, you know. Actually, I'd like to see what John Green could come up with. Like, if he were to write something that isn't YA, like if he were I got tongue-tied there. If he were to write something geared more towards just an adult audience. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what genre you could come up with if you were to write like some kind of horror novel or sci-fi novel or something slightly suspenseful or action-packed, or I don't know. And I don't know if he already has, because I haven't read all of John Green's stuff. So let me know if he already has written something like that, sci-fi or action-packed, or But if he hasn't, then yeah, I definitely like to see him write something like that. So yeah, that'll do for my review of Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. As always, until next time, don't forget, keep it real, keep on rocking, and peace.